Hello, everyone. This is Ben Dunn, founder of Anarchic Press, a comic book publishing company founded in 1985, creator of such comics as Ninja High School, Warrior Nun, Marvel Mangaverse, and a host of other comics. So, recently I had a little discussion with a couple of colleagues of mine, and the discussion came upon comics and what it really means to us. You know, comics are a strange thing. It's one of those industries where we're supposed to have fun. We're supposed to have a good time. We're creating something joyous. We're at least we're supposed to. We're supposed to entertain people. Because that's the primary goal of comics. I mean, if you wanted to do comics for yourself, that's fine, no problem. And I began to realize that there's a lot of people are unhappy working for comics. They're kind of miserable, and they like to complain. They like to create drama. They like to attack other fellow creators. They like to attack their fellow readers, and that makes no sense to me why anyone in the comic industry would do that. Now, also, it also stands something I don't understand is why are people working in comics so miserable? At least some of them are. I'm not. I love comics. Comics is my one true joy besides my family. And I don't see myself doing anything else but comics. You know, the simplicity of comics, to being able to create something from nothing, to create new characters, new stories. I mean, who wouldn't want that ability? We in the comic industry should really appreciate what we're doing. Really appreciate what talent we have. Now, maybe what it is, and this is just me guessing. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not trying to, as they call, analyze what your source of happiness is in life. That's not my job. But I can give you a little advice. That works for me. It may not work for you. It sure works for me. What is your goal in wanting to do comics? What is your expectation in wanting to do comics? Is it, financial? Is it personal? Is it spiritual? Is it all the above? Are they not being met? Maybe that's the source, is that you go into comics having a certain expectation as to what it means to be successful. I mean, or at least fulfilling to you personally. A lot of times people get into comics because they want financial success. They want their creation to really resonate with people and to reward them with some sort of independence as far as financial independence is concerned. They want to be able to do this for a living, basically. And the thing about it is that it's hard work. And if you're not willing to do the hard work, then, stay away from comics. Because quite frankly, you make more money doing a minimum wage job than to do comics, especially when you're starting out. The expectation is that you're going to create something, and it's going to resonate with people. It's going to be a huge hit. You're going to want to, people are going to just flock to your creation like, nobody's business. And when that expectation is not met, there's disappointment. Somehow it's looked upon as a failure to a lot of people when their expectations are not being met. It's very rare for a comic creator to have a hit right out of the gate. We've learned this over the last 40 years. A lot of creators who come to Antarctic Press have this expectation about their success of their creation. They fully expect that when they get into comic stores, people will discover their brilliant new creation and that they'll just flock to it and it'll just be a big hit. Now, even big hits had to win over audience over a certain period of time. Now, of course, there are a few exceptions. Of course, there are exceptions for everything. Sometimes things start off right at the gate, become huge hits in the beginning, but then peter out. Because they either couldn't sustain themselves, or people lost interest, or they couldn't entertain them. And it's one of those things where you just have to either adapt or pivot, so that, or realize you're in for the long haul, that your audience has become what it is. If it's enough of an audience to keep you going, then keep entertaining that audience. Hold on to it. If it's enough of an audience to hold on to and give you a good living, then do everything possible to make sure and maintain that fan base. When you abandon your fan base, that's a recipe for disaster. It's going to eventually lead to your downfall. And maybe that's why people are so miserable in comics, because they feel like somehow they're not fulfilling the dream of success in comics. But the truth of the matter is, the reality is, comics are very, very difficult. First of all, it's not a large industry. It isn't. Let's face it, folks. Comics are not large. Comics made $1-2 billion last year, if even that, and I could be going by old numbers. I'm not sure if they count crowdfunding these days or not, or manga, but maybe it was $2-3 billion total for the year. Movies and television and other forms of entertainment, that's chump change. That's nothing. Comic, we're all fighting for an audience that's already small to begin with. Now, can you make a living doing comics? Yeah, sure, you can. It depends on what your definition of making a living is. Is it enough to pay the bills? Is it enough to maintain doing comics without having to get a second job or a side hustle? Is it enough to keep you sustainable? And that's probably the source of a lot of people's misery, because it's many of us in the industry are just barely above water. We do enough in comics to maintain somewhat of a living. I don't know how many there are there. I don't know if anyone's actually done any research as to how many comic professionals are actually living a very comfortable middle class life, or who have actually found financial independence and success. I'm sure there's a lot of them, but the ones who have made it, I'm sure you've heard of them, who are doing very well for themselves. That's fine. Good. If they're happy, then that's great. But I found that even creators who have financial independence and success, they're still not happy. Maybe there's some sort of drive that is continuous. They want to go ahead and keep at it in order to maintain a level of happiness that will that has to be sustained. My joy is in the simple ability just to create comics. I of course, I'll be honest. The reality is, I also have to make a living too. It's all about the money. You have to, in order to sustain your ability to create comics, you have to rely on a steady source of income. I'm fortunate that I don't have to have a second job to maintain my ability to do comics. Yeah, sure, I gotta do side hustles, gotta do commissions, gotta sell stuff, back and forth. I gotta do crowdfunders, to maintain my standard of living in order to pay my bills. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. I don't know if I can eventually monetize this YouTube channel. That seems to be the goal of a lot of YouTubers these days, is to be able to monetize their channel into something sustainable as well. But that takes time away from me from drawing comics. So that's why I do these short videos. I don't want to spend too much time on these, other than just to inform, to vent, to just basically impart my sage wisdom, as they say. But I don't want to spend time too much away from my drawing board, because that's my job and that's my joy. It's my joy and my job. They happen to coincide with each other, and that's why, for the most part, I'm pretty happy. Sure, I would love to have financial success. Sure, I would love to be able to make, because, with financial success becomes independence, and with independence, you have the ability to do even more. You can do things like spend time, on YouTube, spend time doing other things, help other creators, do things that you've always wanted to do. And that's the advantage of having be financially independent. Now, I haven't got to that level yet, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to find that formula that will allow me that opportunity. I haven't quite cracked the code. I mean, the last 40 years, I've been a comic creator. I've been doing just all right that I'm able to maintain my ability to create comics. So, if you're not happy making comics, if you're miserable, then get out of the comics industry. Find something that gives you joy, gives you pleasure. If you work at something that gives you joy and pleasure, you never have to work again. I mean, it's reevaluate what you're doing. You try to pivot if something's not working for you. Try to adapt. Try to change. Try to find out what it is about your creation that's not resonating with people. Just try to do something to turn around your circumstance so that you're no longer miserable. Because life's too short to be miserable. My dad always told me once that, one of the things in life is to be happy. If you're not happy, then what's the point of life? It's a simple matter, because if life does not bring you joy, then what's your purpose? It's just one of those things. You just got to ask yourself every once in a while. But anyway, I don't want this to be a downer. I'm going to end on a very positive note. I want people who take joy and pride in their work is to continue to do so. Work hard at your creation, because if it's a good idea, it will eventually resonate with people. It's just how long can you sustain it to maintain your own happiness? That's the one thing you have to ask yourself. And comics may not be for you. You may have to reevaluate what it is you're doing, so that you eventually find something that will bring you not only financial stability, but bring you personal and spiritual success as well. It's difficult, I know. A lot of people have miserable jobs. Don't doubt that one bit. They think that having some sort of financial independence will bring their joy. I'll tell you, there's a lot of miserable rich people as well. The thing is, happiness is elusive for a lot of people. And I don't understand why. you yourself should know what makes you happy, and you should strive for that. Short of not hurting somebody else or doing something illegal, of course. You know, but maybe sometimes that brings joy to people. In which case, you take a chance if you decide to pursue that. And in the end, does that really bring you joy? Does it really bring you happiness? You have to ask yourself these fundamental questions before you dive headlong into the comic industry. So if you are a creator who's not happy, not who's miserable, then you need to find out what will make you happy and strive toward that. And that's the one thing that life's too short not to take joy in what you're doing. So anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Until next time, this has been Done signing off.